Hello and welcome back to the Author Spotlight series, where we meet the women behind the words and the mission behind the message. Today's guest is Wendy Molyneux, a homeopath, law of attraction teacher, and a mind coding practitioner who's created something powerful for busy, heart-led women who are ready to shift. Her book, The 7-Minute Manifesting Method, is an 11-day guided workbook that blends neuroscience with universal law to help you raise your vibration and finally become a match for the life you know is waiting for you. We are talking about how to shift from guilt and grief into joy and alignment, why manifesting isn't about stuff, but it's about freedom and clarity, and how just 7 minutes a day can rewire your energy, your thoughts, and your reality. Wendy has a way of taking deep emotional work and making it doable, accessible, and rooted in real life impact. If you've ever said, I don't have time, this one is really for you. Please help me welcome Wendy Molyneux.
Hey, Wendy, thank you very much for being here. I'm so excited. You have such an amazing topic for us prepared. How are you doing? Yes, all good, thank you. All good. Very happy I love saying this, being an author. It's like, wow. I always say that there are no more powerful words in the world than I am. And whatever you say after that, and it could be a negative thing or it could be a positive thing, it's like, I am an author. It's quite exciting, really, isn't it?
I love that. I love that. What is that you do? Who are the people you love helping? And how did you ended up being here?
Well, as you can probably see from my grey hair, I'm quite old, so I'm not going to go through my entire lifestyle. We're waiting until blinking Christmas. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm a homeopath. So I help people with natural remedies to rebalance their health. And I've done that for 25 years. Can't believe that. A bit of a celebration, really, didn't I? When I was going through that process, over and over again, people's emotional root cause is the thing that causes their physical symptoms more often than not. Sometimes you get a bash on the head, you need arnica, that's what happens. But most of the time, there's underlying emotional stuff, which is the bit that really fascinates me. So I helped a lot of clients over the years, all sorts of clients. I don't really have a specific type of person I help, but all sorts of clients. And then I realized that I wanted to dive much more deeply into what makes the mind tick. Along the way, in a sort of the personal side of the journey was I was always very happy, very balanced. Life was good. I've had a great life. I love my life, and I still do. But my two kids, my son is very easy breezy. It sounds a very weird thing to say. He's like me in trousers, all fine. My daughter came along, and bless her, she has really struggled. So at about 30, when hormones were kicking in, she really struggled. And she is later diagnosed with ADHD, but we didn't realize at the time. And I had a really bad time. I did not know what to do. And I was sitting there thinking, but I'm a therapist. I should know how to do it. And I didn't. And I was a crap mother to her for a period of time, really like bad. Lots of shouting, lots of nonsense. And I ended up reaching out for help, and I got some coaching help. And my coaches were fabulous. And they asked the question, don't ask why this is happening to you. Ask why it's happening for you. What's it there to show you? If it was a blessing, what's the blessing? And that for me became actually for me to become much kinder, more heartful. And that's where I then, because I can't help myself creating words and things out of whatever, that's when I created heartfulness, which was basically like heart-led mindfulness. And every day from that day, I have sat and listened to my heart. So every single day I do 5 minutes, that's all, but 5 minutes heartful breathing and connect in. That's how I got into all that. And then I went on to train with my coaches. They launched a accredited academy, and I trained in mind coding, and it's absolutely fascinating. It's basically neuroscience meets all of all the good stuff. It's just incredible. Yeah, so that's cool. And that's a whistle stop through 25 years. That's the background as to what I do when I'm not writing. Yeah. And so then I think I found myself giving clients the same advice over and over. So it was a lot of about gifting themselves time and their morning routines and listening to their heart and questioning, why is this happening to me? What's it there to show me? Like all the stuff. And I thought, I think I need to, I was creating little PDFs all over the show going, look, there's a bit of advice there. Here's how to do something to stay calm. Here's how to do blah, blah, all the stuff. And I thought, I think maybe I need to pull that together into a book, really. That's how I got to wanting to write a book.
I love that. You see the patterns that most of the people live their lives in certain ways, right? So when you say, you just went through quickly, yeah, have time for yourself. This is so not basic for most of the people, right? So they need to sit down and think strategically first before it gets into the habits arena, right? But people don't even have the capacity sometimes to do, quote unquote, for us already basic things who are in the self-development journey, right? So please walk us through what are those things that most of the people should do on a daily basis.
I would say choose to do rather than should. I never should. To get rid of all the shoulds in our life. Yeah. But my coaches say, don't should on yourself. No, whatever feels right for you. But it is daily practice, and it is about tuning into what actually feels right for you. And I think I've had lots of clients over the years who are all doing all the right things, doing the gym, doing the nutrition, doing the this, the that, whatever feels right for them. But they haven't dived down into the underlying emotional root cause. So we all have within us limiting beliefs. Everyone has them. And whatever is your dominant limiting belief is a really good idea to try and sit with and work out what that is. And then there are things you can do, which I've written in my book, very top line. Obviously, it goes very deep. You come and see a coach. But yeah, there are things you can do to start to shift those limiting beliefs, because otherwise, whatever you're doing, you will be held back, because we all operate at a frequency. We're all operating at frequencies all the time, and all of our emotions have frequencies. So emotions like shame, or guilt, or fear, grief, or whatever, all of those are quite low level base emotions, and they drag us down. They drag our energy down. And anything can be about with us is energy, because we're just a collection of cells, and it's just about our energy. So we have those ones that drag us down. And at the opposite end of the spectrum, you have love and joy and all of those good things that lift us up. And so I always talk about operating at a frequency of love or above. So in fact, I think somewhere, and is it all right if I just show a quick thing in my book? Really, of course, please do. It cracks me up and makes me laugh a lot. So I just think this thing. So this is we talk about the magnetic frequency of love, because when you are in that space, that's what you put out. And according to all the laws of the universe, not just the law of attraction, that's what you get back. So I think in pictures, and for me, what I ended up designing, I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
The emotional vibrator. I made myself laugh. I asked my son. But basically what happens is that love, joy, abundance, generosity, whatever, all the things are up the top. And then you can see down here is shame, guilt, fear. It's about sitting every day and thinking, okay, what is my dominant emotional vibration? Because if it's not up there at love or above, I'm going to be pulling myself down every day, and I'm not going to be attracting the things that I would really like to attract in my life. So that helps people to think in that way, helps people to get unstuck. And then it's about doing very simple kind of basic things, whatever it is you feel you can take on board to try and move that energetic vibration. It is basically, it's all quantum physics. It's neuroscience. A lot of people go, oh, it's very woo. And it's okay, that's fine. If it feels woo to you, it feels woo to you. But it's the way, the world works. Cellular energy is what keeps us all ticking. Yeah. So what I thought was, okay, I need to make this really simple for people. Sorry, that's not meant to be patronizing. I can only do simple. Like I have to have, here's Mars. This is what I do every day, and I change it up. I have it has to be simple, because I was coming across time and again people who have just got busyness syndrome. They are so busy, and I'm too busy, and I can't do that, and I can't. And that. And I thought, okay, I've got to meet people where they are. Now, the honest truth is that you slow down to speed up. If you keep yourself in that busyness world, then, over you go. So that's why I thought what I want to do here is actually look at the kind of 4 basic areas of life. Look at money and career and finances, look at health, physical and emotional, look at happiness, purpose and joy, and look at love, self and relationship. Like, I wanted it to be quite clear that obviously all those things come together. And within those kind of headings, as it were, I wanted to do something which was what I've created is something that takes just 7 minutes a day. So if you can't find 7 minutes a day to get unstuck in whatever of those areas you choose to pick on to do first, then you do have a problem. If you can't find 7 minutes a day, then
that's the point, especially that you need that 7 minutes. Stop sabotaging yourself.
We should be taught all of this stuff in school. All of it in school, but you're not aware of it. And what's that, especially when you know better, you do better. But if you're not aware in any shape or form about trying to work on your energy in a really simple fashion.
This is the gap. Your book is filling that gap between the, oh my God, I have no idea, and days are flowing by. You mentioned I'm a shitty mom, I'm a shitty this, I don't know what's going on in my career. And then there is the, may I even dream it? Yes, that's another question to you, is if your dreams not even scare you, but the things that you should dream about, or the things that maybe back in the days used to make you happy, but you can't focus on those anymore. What's that about? I feel like right now, I'm after a couple of years in the journey, right? I feel like those dreams, what I wanted, don't float my boat anymore. It's like it's not. And I sometimes can't even pick new goals because of certain things in the past. What happened? Maybe I'm not believing it anymore. Maybe I'm giving up on certain things. If we want to be really specific, right? I'm 42. I still want to have babies. It's like time is running out. If I believe in that, I believe in that. That's a different question. But at the end of the day, if you look at the time now, that's, for example, something where I'm like, is it really relevant? Is it something? So it creates more fear within as a goal than the good feeling thoughts. And do I just need to give up on the dream, or I'm just not focusing on that particular dream?
Making it a priority. I'm talking a specific here, but I work as a natural fertility. Best part of my entire things that I ever did, because there is nothing more joyous than helping somebody. And it was at a clinic with somebody else who's a fantastic practitioner. But the question I used to say, my part of the thing was all the mind stuff around it, really. And she did a lot more of the physical stuff. And it was always, have you made space for a baby to come in? How much do you really want this? Or how much are you saying you want this because parents expect you to want this, or all your friends have got babies, or whatever. I'm not it's very private stuff. I don't mean that for you to talk about that now, but I think that was the thing. It was gifting yourself again the time to sit down and go, okay, first of all, when you go through this 7-minute manifesting method, you have to pick your thing to start with. I'm not saying you can't go through all of them, but you pick off what's your kind of most important thing. Where are you most stuck at the moment? And if you've got a time constraint, now I don't buy until I had my second child at 45, so I'm not even buying any of that shit. But but you look very healthy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, it's not meant to be personal, but bollocks to all that. But I think you do need to sit with, in the first part of the is this my dream? And if it is my dream, why and what feelings will I get, and all of that, all the good stuff. And then I think you move on to the next bit of this, which is about your dominant limiting beliefs. So underneath there somewhere will be, And again, sorry, this is not meant you pass. This is like generally, I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough for this. I'd be a rubbish mother. I've got all the rubbish we tell ourselves. But that's where you then go through a process, and we call it the BS system, where BS stands for either bullshit or belief system. It's totally up to you. But you take your belief and you catch that belief. So that's the important work. And then you challenge it. You look for evidence otherwise, and you look for evidence for how healthy you are, whatever the evidence is. And then you make changes and you change it and you make a commitment to it. And then you celebrate it when it happens. So that's part of the kind of system that you're going through. But the biggest, most important thing in that is awareness of the thoughts and the beliefs underneath that you might not be talking to anybody about. But
are we conditioned like that? I'm not sure. Or is it coming from somewhere? But we are afraid of those emotions that come up during these processes, right? And it's like, even within your digging, you are judging yourself. Why am I feeling like this? I shouldn't again. I don't know. There are so many things that when come up, I thought I worked through this already, and so on and so forth, right? And
forever work. But emotions is energy in motion. Emotions are good.
emotions are good. Okay.
Fears are the cleansing of the soul. Emotions are good. They're not to be suppressed, because when you suppress things, and when maybe, people have done it from very little, or they've learned it's not safe to be upset or get angry or whatever, that's when, you make yourself unwell. You make yourself out of balance. So at a cellular level, you've been busy suppressing everything. And then you add in all the layer of physical suppression that people do with conventional medications or vaccinations, or let's not even get started on all that shit. But anyway, that's another layer of suppression. And so your body is not able to do what it's put on this planet to do, which is reproduce, be healthy, blah, 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 blah. Your body is, and that's another whole, I'm going off down a health tangent, but it's so true because it all works together. So letting those emotions out and letting yourself really feel them. And as my lovely coaches would always say, sit in the shit, sit in the feelings. It's important. It's really important to
Love it.
So then you carry on working through that process. So you identify those beliefs, and then you work through the process of actually attracting what you want. Because you're much clearer in it then.
I love that. And thank you so much for that. And also, isn't it funny how we are taught not to experience and let out, right? Be a good girl, quiet, won't cry in front of other people. And it so often happens. And during a conversation with my clients, and although I'm not doing mindset work, but business work, but there are certain things I need to ask. And then I realize, and also in kind of vision, people ask for forgiveness if they are crying. And then there was a time when I was really so upset about that. It's obviously, this is an emotional moment. Let it just out, as you said. Isn't that sad?
It's awful.
Embarrassed and all sorts of things.
And you are so much better for releasing it. However, you're better for releasing it. But what's even better is to do the little bit of work every day to, I say not have to release them. It's ongoing. If you do the little bit of stuff every day, it doesn't build up to needing to come out like that, because you're aware. It's about your awareness. You're like aware. Oh yeah. Oh, that's why I'm like that. And actually, yeah, today's just going to be a shitty day. That's okay. Because blah, 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 blah. But to get yourself into that place, I always say with my coaching, and I call it my wonderful coaches, that actually one of the biggest things they've given me, I think, is I call it bounce back ability.
Yes.
And you can apply that kind of, so like all this book production process. Can't talk. Amazon KDP come through, and it's all great. But it's no, actually, that's fine. I'm bouncing. You bounce back more quickly. It's not to say that you don't feel the feels and sit in all the rubbish, but you just learn to bounce back because you're doing the daily work. And even that daily work might literally be sitting, listening to your heart every day. And that might be all. It's not saying, okay, you've got to work your way through my book. And unless you do every page, then you're not going to manifest anything you want. I don't mean it like that at all, but it's just like, I wanted to help people with a process that would make it easy for them if they weren't sure where to start. But yeah,
And it's a methodology, right? And I love that you give tools to people, right? Because when you get started, it's quite overwhelming and you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, meditate. Thanks.
yeah, my meditations are like short things and on me chatting away going, hey, this is all going to happen. Yeah, so you can download that. You can use a QR code in the book to download those. But also a very good thing with meditation is to actually record it yourself. So you record what I've written out in the book. So you can do that. So you can either listen to me chuntering on if you want to, or you can record it yourself. And that really helps with your neural pathways to pick it up. But yeah, so there's different things. It might be a bit of journaling because you've got to do that reflection. It might be some meditation. It might be some breath work. I certainly say to people before thinking about any sort of goals or what you want is to sit and literally do a heart calm, literally put your hand on your heart for a minute and just sit and get into the right frequency first before you start, rather than, okay, I'm just going to sit down with a big bit of paper and I'm going to draw a picture of that silly red Ferrari again or whatever. That's me done. No, let's just, get you into the right energetic space.
Let's get back to the beginnings then, because I know you have another book. How was your book writing journey before the Book Boss Academy, and how did the Book Boss Academy change? So what's your first book?
Oh, I wrote a book years ago. I'm trying to think how many years ago. My daughter's 22. I wrote the book basically that I wish she'd had in junior school. Buddies in junior school, and I wrote a law of attraction book. I'm a trained law of attraction teacher. I don't know if I said that bit, but anyway, I am. And I wrote a book for kids, law of attraction book for kids. So if you don't honestly, you'll see the cover. I can't even bear for anybody in Book Boss to see this. But anyway, that's it. It's called Magical Me, Life Hacks for Happy and Calm Kids. And it's really simple. The one I've written now is almost like the adult version of this, but it's really simple. Having an attitude of gratitude, giving them little finger taps to do with all sorts of stuff. And I wrote that a long time ago. And I love the writing part, and I love choosing just to go inside, and I love all the creative parts, and then all the other bits. Oh shit, yeah. But so years ago, I had to pay somebody to do that for me, to format it and to upload it to KDP and all that kind of thing. Whereas now with Book Boss, I have put my big girl pants on, and I have my 7-minute manifesting method I did myself, but I joined Book Boss towards the end of that being ready. So there are things I will go back and change, I think. But it was so brilliant to have the support to actually get it uploaded, go through all that process on Amazon, blah, blah, which actually, once you've cracked it, it's really not that tricky. So it took me a long time to write the 7-minute manifesting method, but I think that is because that is my heart and soul book. That's like the advice I would want to give everyone.
Let's do that.
Not saying that the others won't be, but of course, that took a long time. I hope I'll get a bit quicker at it, because then I joined Book Boss, and oh my life, it's amazing. It's the most amazing kind of value and supportive community, and Abby just knows everything. Yeah, so good, and lessons that just keep getting repeated over and over because you need to learn them over and over about the importance of your cover and all the things. But there's just so much support, which is great, and your lovely, not just the videos and things, but your lovely support in the week. Drop in, let's get accountable, and I want to and need to make. In fact, I choose to make more of getting those in my diary, certainly from the new year and maybe a bit now. It's just really good. Here's other people, and it's a community. So there'll be people that you gravitate towards and people that are in a different space than you, and that's fine. So I think it's just so good. I can't see why anybody who is thinking about writing a book wouldn't join Book Boss, to be honest.
It's really also everyone is on a different stage of book creation and writing, and also different book types, right? So it's not just like your one book of your lifetime, but also Abby is helping everyone to find and choose their own brilliance and then just really create the books and get used to publishing and so on and so forth. Can you introduce us to your 7-minute manifesting method book?
I can show you it. Yes, the thing. Can you actually? I never know whether Zoom is working or I've got it upside down or back to front.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, that's what it looks like. And then inside, there's different sections. There's an introduction, which is all about, I don't know what that bit's about. But anyway, the laws of attraction, because there's much more than one. There's 13 universal laws, and they're so interesting. So I've done a little intro to that. I'll into my vibrator again. Better skip on from that. And then you go through into here. So it's about manifesting money. So then you go through the 11-day sprint. So 7 minutes a day for 11 days, all about money. And then you would go into the next section, which is all about love and manifesting love. And then the next section is health. If you wanted to focus on your health, so they're all different color coded, color coordinated. And then the last one is all about manifesting happiness. So yeah, that's the way that it works. And then there's a little roundup about taking aligned action, because obviously that's so important in anything that we're doing, and a bit about decluttering, because again, energetically, that makes so much difference. So yeah, that's it really. That's it. So I call it a guided workbook. And the plan is that you come back to it over and over again. So you might think, I want to focus on my relationship with my kids is crap at the moment. I'm going to focus on the love section and really hone down in what I want and need to change there. So what I've done is, and this probably me being a bit OCD, but there's lots of journaling pages. So this one, for example, is the one all about the dominant limiting belief, actually catch it, challenge it, change it. There's some guides, and then here's the way you would write it. I don't want to mess my book up. So I've given people a QR code to download some extra pages. So either you write it in your book, or you can go away and get some extra pages and just write away in the book. That's totally up to you. But the idea is that's like a Bible for life, really. You keep coming back to it every time.
Layer to layer. What would you say? Where do people start? It's okay. My money situation is crap. My love life is crap. What would bring the most not love?
I just laughing. I was just about to say which is the crappiest. It's my answer to that, really. What I would do, like I'm a great believer in following your intuition. Yeah, what's the crappiest is really the question. But I'm a great believer in following your intuition. And I think what I would say is literally sit with that question. What should I focus on first? And you do, what does your head tell you? What does your heart tell you? And then on your gut, what does your gut tell you? And you sit with that and you will get an answer, and you will get 2 out of 3 will say the same thing, or all 3 out of 3 will say the same thing. And that's where you start. But you're starting there and you're moving your energy there. And it doesn't mean that you can't do the others. And if you wanted to, I guess you could do one of those things in the morning and one in the evening, if that felt like, with your 7 minutes, that's felt like what you wanted to do. But I think it's probably better to focus on one. And it is only an 11-day sprint. And the idea is that you are a streak, even sprint if you like as well. But the idea is that you're starting to shift the energy around love, let's say.
So there is no one area which, quote unquote, unlocks most of the problems, in your opinion. You just really feel, and we have the answer, right? That's what I heard. From your, it's like we have the answer.
You have the answer, and you start with one and then move on to another, and then you might move back to the first one again. And that is totally up to you. Yeah, I can't be prescriptive about that. But I think the point to take is that what it starts to do is starts to shift your energy in that area. So you will start to see things and notice things, and people will respond to you differently, and and you'll put it out to the universe, and things will pop up that you weren't expecting at all. And you might see like the same person 3 times in a row when you're out on a dog walk or something. They think, hang on, person's obviously got a message for me right now, because I've shifted my energy. And they might lead you to somebody who, like I got introduced to Book Boss, and I'm just trying to remember, I won't name names or anything, but through a little group that I was in, and I was being brave and asking for something else. I forget what it was. And they said, oh, you really need to talk to this person. And then when I talked to this person, she said, oh, I'm in this thing called Book Boss. I went, Oh, that sounds very interesting. If I'd never been brave in the first place to say, probably I was saying, oh, God, bothered to go on social media. Has anybody else got a different idea? Oh, that was probably what I was doing, being brave. Yeah. And so that when you start opening up and shifting your energy, the universe responds.
I love that. And synchronicities, I've been just talking about this with one of my clients, is sometimes we are just so overwhelmed with life that we don't see, but the synchronicities are there, aren't they? They are just like,
and the messages. Yeah, the universe is sending you little messages all the time. But it is back to that busyness syndrome again. It's, you know what? People are so busy. And yes, we can, it's good to do things we love doing and everything else, but you have to step back sometimes and just go. I try and have I call it, I'm a CEO, I'm a chief energy officer, and I try and have CEO days, half days, more likely.
Yes.
Only once a quarter, if not once a month, where I'm just like, okay, let's just step back from all this jibble the next book, doing the next thing, whatever. Let's just check in. And you should check in every day with yourself, but let's just check in. Is this making me happy? Because if it's not, I'm not freaking doing it.
But to get there, it's just such a journey, isn't it? Because we are not allowing ourselves to really feel our way into it. We come into, especially in online business, and I guess in any career, or even if you are quote unquote a mom, just a mom, right? People are like, oh yeah, I'm just a mom.
Lots checking.
But it's a logistical nightmare. What are you talking about? And it's never ending. So even when you think you are not doing enough, or even when you think it's like you go in and you are just like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and this is the perfect version. And then you realize how crippling that could be for you, right? And I love that the 7-minute manifesting method actually helps me to ground and think about certain things in a way that, okay, hold to your horses.
Yeah.
Is it really what I want? Is it really going the way I want? Is it really what's going on? Because sometimes we are just like,
sometimes you're just on the treadmill. You're on the treadmill and you don't know how to get off it. But honestly, but again, that's for me, that's back to that heart connection. If I can't feel this in my heart, it doesn't make me happy. This is part of getting old. If it doesn't make me happy, I'm not freaking doing it. Just know what is it? Again, it's not one of my lovely coaches. I can't remember what they say, but it's along the lines of, if it doesn't light me up, then, it ain't happening.
Ain't happening. Yeah. And I think you need to be really bold and experienced and put those boundaries up to get there. So you really need to crush yourself, especially I can talk about the online business part, right? You need to experience real shitty moments where you feel like, okay, no one's doing this to me anymore. No, I'm not giving you any time of the day. No, I'm not answering messages at 11 o'clock just because you sent it at 11 o'clock to my time. So I think we learn these boundaries and we learn these things the hard way, right? Why can't we learn from other people's mistakes? Why do we need to get really down the bottom and spiral down to actually change? What's that about?
But your intuition, what would as you were starting that spiral, a little bit like your body gives you signs if there are things that you need to do. As you were starting that spiral, probably if you'd listened to your intuition and managed to park those pesky limiting beliefs over here, that catch it, challenge it, change it, which is, but if I don't do this, what am I going to do? And I'm not good enough. And the imposter comes wanging in. And if you would have known at the start of that spiral or a little bit down that spiral, you don't have to get down to the grotty weeds if you are aware of that and to know how to manage that imposter. So that imposter is...
Yeah. But we tend to beat ourselves up. But I think we are inviting people here and now to actually be okay with it, be happy that you now realized, even if you are at the bottom, and try next time. Now, if you analyze it and look back, what was the time when you really felt like, something's not right here, but you kept going, right? The next time, but again, then awareness, right? Next time you can catch it at the beginning. And
next time neural pathways will be on. Wait a minute, Agnes, this wasn't good last time. So actually, you're not my ideal client. Sod off.
Right.
But that because you go, "Oh, I didn't like this before, and I'm not going to like it again." So it's very interesting. We get older and wiser, don't we? As I said before, you know better, you do better, and you don't know it until you
And don't beat yourself up. That's the main thing. From that, nothing comes from that.
just learn and move on.
I love that. We can with that. Let's put that on a t-shirt.
Yes, yeah. Oh, but so many t-shirts. I might do a book of t-shirt quotes.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. That's what I'm doing with the Oracle book now, right? It's just open it up intuitively, and that's your t-shirt quote for the day.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing that. How exciting!
So yeah, so work on that book as well. It's like I would love to have that. It's just give me your t-shirt quote for the day. Right?
Yeah. Basically, planning to the sticky thing you stick on the front of your t-shirt. There again, that might look a bit crap, but yes,
Yeah.
sure.
So, Wendy, what are you working on next?
I've got these. So share your life story, mum and dad.
Okay, what's that?
So they're double. So they're 2-in-1 book. So you can get share your life story, mum, or share your life story, dad. And I've also done grandma and grandpa.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But I've also
This share your life. I never heard about that.
okay. Oh, so these are books where let's fit the mum and dad one. So it's basically mum and dad can capture their life story together side by side. So you have, let's just pick a page, any page. What's this one? Oh, that's extra pages for writing extra things. That's they're used to anyway, really, is it? Here we go. School days. So you have got there, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
School days and school days and dad school days. And you'll have, I don't know, or whatever that one is. Mum, on becoming a mum, on becoming a dad, what they thought. So they each fill it in and you go through and you journal all the important things in your life. But the idea is that it's a keepsake for your kids, but it's also, you can put photos in it. You can do what you like, really.
Beautiful. Even for Christmas and stuff, right? It's
a lovely legacy. So there are books like this about, but these two are the first ones that have got mum and dad or grandma and grandpa together, or because there's lots of families that don't necessarily have that. I've also done all the individual ones too. So mum, dad, grandma, grandpa. Yeah.
But it's even interesting, right? My father passed away and also my grandfather's passed away quite early, right? But it would have been brilliant while my grandmas were alive to fill out what they knew about grandpa, because it's getting lost. We were just talking about this with mom the other day. It's, Ma, I remember this story grandma was telling me all the time. And obviously my mom remembers it totally differently.
Yes.
We missed that boat to be able to ask her what was the story, but after 40 years, who remembers? And that, that's beautiful.
But you haven't missed the boat with your mum.
But I haven't missed that. Yes,
exactly. So I think that's the thing. I'm just finishing off putting out a few more bits and bobs about the 7-minute manifesting method. I'm not very good at that side of things, but I'm just going to this week do my last din up there, and then I'm going to start talking about those share your life story books much more from next week. Yeah.
And it's also bringing the family together, right? It's also heartwarming and also mindfulness, right? Really see the issues, what you went through, how the next generation can learn from that. And I truly believe, I was talking about this with my clients, everyone is spiritual, that what if that's our legacy? What if bringing the crap out, what we learned, and unlearn it for the next generation? What if that's the legacy? What it's not the $1 million business that they can carry on, although I don't believe in they have their own beautiful gifts, what they supposed to live for, not my legacy business, right?
Yes.
If they don't want to. But what if that's our legacy? That we unlearn all this crap and unearth it and dig it out so they can change or they can move on into their lives and the next generations with something else.
Because when you do that work, and I keep saying like it is everyday work, but when you do that work, then everybody else around you, whether it is kids or it's not kids, whether it's nieces and nephews, whether it's mums and dads, everyone else benefits. because you are in a completely different energetic space.
It ripples out, isn't it?
Huge ripples.
And that people are reacting differently to you if you can work out certain things, right? It's like when my brother sent me a text, whatever, and it triggered me big time. And he had no idea what he caused. It was just a harmless something. What he thought he just puts out there. And in me, it's just shattered my whole world. And I was on 100 in 2 seconds and stuff. And from the moment, I'm not reacting like this because I worked it out. I found the core, I released whatever. And from the moment, next time when the topic comes up, I will be able to have a conversation like a normal person, right?
Yeah.
About that topic. And it does have an effect on everything.
But you did the work then. You immediately got on it and thought, and yes, you didn't try and suppress those emotions. You went, oh, that's made me feel really rubbish.
Yeah.
Why? I always say the why 5. The why 5, why? Ask it 5 times and then it's, oh yeah, okay, that's why. Yeah. And then as you say, next time you'll be in a different energetic frequency when whatever that is brought up again. And therefore, and then he will learn and benefit, or whoever, everyone.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, where can people find your books? And what if people want to work with you on a different level? Do you have any options for that, coaching or something?
So the best thing to do is to probably go to my website, which is Wendy Mol. So I haven't done the full name, the tricky one to say, because no one can ever say it. So it's wendymol.com. And on there are my books, there'll be links to all these Share Your Life Story books as well, because there's 8 of them. I can't really know, whichever, you've got to pick the right one for you. And there's also, I do a coaching day. So I do a full day.
Love it.
Because I didn't want to faff about, let's do an hour here and an hour there. And it's a real intensive, let's pick everything, let's get together in a really nice space somewhere and do it all one-to-one and all of that lovely stuff. So I can really hold people and hold space for people. And then all my homeopathy is on there too. So if people just go, yeah, I don't want to dive in that deep, but actually whatever, I've got cystitis or I've got period pains or I've got blah, blah, whatever all the blah, blahs are, then they can either have a consultation or I can do made to order remedies for specific things, depending on what it is. So that's on there. I'm not really promoting that out into the world. People in the know that and I support them, but I don't want to confuse people too much with, here are all the things I can do, because for me going forward, it's all about heartful books for real change is what I'm going to be going forward in the way I'm going to be helping people the most. Or the most people, because when you get out there with the book, that 7-minute manifesting method, when you get that in your hands, that's all the things I know in a book and a much more accessible way of accessing. That's not very good English, but a much easier way of accessing that than thinking, oh, I need to have a consultation or I need to do whatever.
Yeah, I love the fact that you offer a holistic approach. Right. So most people, when do they go to doctors or try to find remedies when they have actual symptoms, right? Body symptoms. And that's where they can enter your world. And then you can show them that, okay, yes, we can help on the health issue as well and on that level. But if we want to really get rid of it and if we really want to look into that, there is always that background as well, and then your coaching comes in place. I love it. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think for me, there's always an underlying emotional root cause for persistent symptoms. If somebody's got something and there's a wonderful book I use by a lady called Ina Sigal, that's like my Bible, and it tells you all of the emotional reasons for persistent physical symptoms. And then you have a remedy for the symptom for sure, but you do the work on the underlying stuff and then, surprise, the symptom goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. Wendy, if people can just take away with them one message from this conversation or from your life work, what would that message be that you would want to share?
Oh gosh. My very favorite self-help personal development quote, which is actually in the first book that I ever read. So there's a book by a lady called Rebecca Campbell called Light is the New Black, which I just love the title. I'm such a sucker for the title. But she says, your head leads you in circles, but your heart leads you home. And I love that. That's always stuck with me. And whenever anybody asks me that question about quotes, I was going, "Yeah, that one, it's still that one. It's always going to be that one." But I would say my message would be that manifesting from the heart helps you to consciously create your dream life, which is all about the feelings beyond the stuff. So it's all about the feeling of being in abundance, being in joy, being in happiness, rather than just the stuff. So yeah, that I think that would be my kind of core message. And you can do it in 7 minutes a day. You can start that whole process rolling in 7 minutes a day. And if you haven't got 7 minutes, soz, I can't help you.
Then let's find that 7 minutes. I love that. Thank you very much. We will add your links everywhere where people are watching and listening. So check out Wendy's website, check out the books. There are beautiful things coming. I know that. With Book Boss Academy as well, they are working on in the background, really putting things out there that help you to find your own journey.
Absolutely fantastic. I would absolutely say join Book Boss Academy. It's just fantastic. Everyone's got a book in them, I think. If you're even feeling the calling, if it's there in your mind, that means it's for you. Get some help. If I compare the difference between my first book, like how long that took and all the, oh, blimey, I don't even know what they're talking about, to actually feeling a little more on top of the process now. And that can only, I haven't been in Book Boss Academy that long, but that can only get better.
Love that. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for sharing all your knowledge here with us. And can't wait to see your new books coming out.
Oh, thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.